Hey guys, welcome back to No Catchy Name. It's me, Ella. Today we're making Frankenstein, little baby Frankenstein. Ain't he cute? So grab your supplies and let's head over to the crafting table and get started. Okay, to get started with our little Frankenstein, you're going to need some yarn. So this is all Parfait Chunky, and it's all the regular Parfait Chunky except my green I'm using is the neon one. So I've got black, purple, green, brown, and gray. And they're all size 6, but I do feel that Parfait Chunky is a little bit closer to a size 5. You're also going to need some worsted weight black for the mouth, and then also some little bit of white for the eyes. Then today I'm using a 5mm hook, which is an H hook. You can use whichever one's best for your tension. You'll need a stitch marker and some scissors and a yarn needle. And let's get started. Alright, so we're going to be starting with our brown, so let me get my brown going. You can start with a magic ring or the chain 2 method. I prefer the chain 2 method for yarns like Parfait Chunky because they tend to be real fragile when you pull on it and fluffy, you know. So I always try to do the chain 2 method with the more chenille fluffy top yarns. Okay, so we're going to start with 8 single crochet into our second chain from the hook if you did chain 2, or in your magic ring if you did magic ring. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, that's round 1 technically. Round 2 we're going to increase all the way around. So we're going to start with 8 stitches and we're going to end with 16. So on our first stitch we're going to increase, which is where you put 2 single crochets in one stitch. 1, 2. I'm going to stop right there and put my stitch marker in the first stitch that I made. So that was 2. So we increase again. 3, 4. Increase again. 5, 6. Increase again. 7, 8, increase again, 9, 10, increase again, 11, 12, increase again, 13, 14, and one more increase, 15, 16. Alright, so round 2 you have 16 stitches. Round 3 we're going to do 1 single crochet increase all the way around, and it's going to be a total of 24 stitches at the end. So let's do our first single crochet and then put our stitch marker back. Now we're going to increase. Now we're going to do 1 single crochet and then increase. We're going to repeat that all the way around. 1 increase, 1 increase, 1 increase. To the end, and you'll have 24 stitches. Round 4 we're going to do 2 single crochets and then increase. So we'll start with 1 and put our stitch marker back. Okay, so that was 1. Now we're going to do 1 more. So 1, 2, and now in the third stitch we're going to increase. Then we're going to single crochet 2, so here's 1, 2, and then third stitch we're going to increase. We're going to continue that all the way around, single crochet, increase, single, single, increase to the end, and you'll have 32 stitches. For round 5 we're going to be adding black in as well, but we're going to start doing a few stitches in brown, so get your black ready. First, for round 5, we're going to single crochet 12 in brown. So let's do 1 and put our stitch marker in. Okay, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now before I finish that last single crochet, you would yarn over and pull through. This is where I'm going to attach my black. So you take your black yarn and you use it as your yarn over and pull through. And then you just kind of drop your brown for just a moment. So now we're going to do the first foot in black. This is going to be a 4 triple crochet bobble for the foot. So you yarn over twice, insert it into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. Then you yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You'll have 2 loops. So that was 1. So here's yarn over twice, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You'll have 3 loops. So that was 2 of them. Yarn over twice, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You'll have 4 loops. So that was 3 of them. So now we're going to do our last triple. Yarn over twice, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You'll have 5 loops. So when you have your 5 loops, you drop your black yarn and you pick up your brown. And then you yarn over and you pull through all 5 loops. I kind of like to pull them a little bit just to get them snug. And then as we keep crocheting on, it'll kind of pop out a little bit like a little foot. So your next single crochet is right after the bobble. Sometimes you have to kind of push it out of the way. So right here's the one we're going to be working into. With the brown, we're going to single crochet 6. So let's do 1. Our foot gets a little squished, so just kind of use your finger to poke it out on the right side there. So there's his little foot. Alright, we did 1, so now we need to do 5 more. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the 6th one, don't yarn over. Pick up your black again on the inside and finish that last single crochet with the black. And now we're going to make another foot just like we just did. So it's 4 triple crochet bobble. So yarn over twice, insert in the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So you'll have 2 loops. Yarn over twice, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You'll have 3 loops. Yarn over twice, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You'll have 4 loops. Now for the last one, yarn over twice, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You'll have 5 loops. Drop your black working yarn, pick up your brown, yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. Kind of tighten it up a little bit. Alright, there's your 2 feet. Now at this time you can trim the black because you won't need it again for a while up until his head. So I just trim it, and then I usually take my 2 black ends and tie them together, just so that they're secure. You could weave them in if you wanted to, but I just like doing this because it's going to be on the inside. It'll just be part of the stuffing. Alright, to finish this round, we're going to single crochet 12 in brown. Again, this first stitch is kind of hiding, so you have to kind of squish it over. There's your first stitch. So let's do 12 single crochets. Do our first one and then pop out our foot. Make sure it's out right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, so there's your feet. Okay, so now for round 6, 7, and 8, so it's 3 rounds, we're going to be just solidly single crocheting all the way around. This is making up his little pants. So we're just going to do 3 whole rounds of solid single crochet in brown. And at the end of those 3 rounds, you'll have 32 stitches in each round. And then we'll be color changing. So let's do all of 6, all of 7, all of 8 except the last stitch, and then we'll color change. Okay, I'm on the last stitch of round 8, and I've started the single crochet, but I'm not going to finish it with my brown. This is where I'm going to attach my purple. So do your last bit of your stitch in purple, and then this is where you can cut off your brown, and then I'm going to tie my brown tail to my purple tail. Just a couple knots to secure it in there. And again, that'll be stuffing, so don't worry about that. So now we are doing purple. So we're on round 9 we're going to do 2 single crochets and decrease all the way around. So let's start with 1 single crochet. So it's 1, 2, and now we're going to decrease. So I like to do the invisible decrease, which is where you go into the front loop only instead of the whole stitch. So to decrease, you go into the front loop, yarn over and pull through, and then instead of finishing a single crochet, you go directly into the next stitches, front loop only, yarn over, pull through, and then you yarn over and go through all those loops. So that was 1 decrease. I was taking 2 stitches and turning it into 1. So then 2, so 1, 2, and then we're going to do another decrease. So yarn over and pull through, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and go through all 3 stitches. So we're going to do that all the way around. 1, 2, decrease, 1, 2, decrease until the end of the round, and you'll have 24 stitches. So there's the end of round 9. We have 24 stitches. Round 10 is just single crochet all. So you're just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch to the end of the row. So you'll have 24 stitches at the end of round 10. Alright, we just finished round 10. Now we're moving on to round 11. So this one we're going to be needing our green, but we're going to do some stitches with purple first. So we need a single crochet 7 in purple, but don't finish off the 7th one with purple. We'll be switching to green. So there's our first stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's 7. We're not going to finish it. We're going to add the green because we're going to make his arm. There's our green added. Drop purple for now, but we'll pick it back up in a minute. So the arms are made exactly the way the feet are, and also this part kind of relies on your tension. I have them spaced out 7 arm, 8 arm, 7. But if your bubbles are off a few stitches, all you gotta do is move them. So if you make it one arm here and the other one ends up being like directly above the foot, all you gotta do is pull it out, do 1 more single crochet over, make the arm there. Because sometimes tension affects placement of certain stitches. So if you have to mess with it, go ahead and mess with it. It's fine. Alright, let's do the first arm. So we're going to yarn over twice, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You have 2 loops, yarn over twice, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops. Yarn over twice, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. There you have 4 loops, and last one is yarn over twice, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then you have 5, and drop your green, pick up your purple, yarn over and go through all 5 of those loops. So there's the first little arm. Now, again, the first single crochet you'll be working on is sometimes it gets smushed over like that, so you want to dig it out. And we're going to single crochet 8. So there's 1. Again, make sure you get the arm popped out there. There we go. So that was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but don't finish the 8 one. Drop purple and pick up green again. Finish that single crochet with the green, and then we're going to make the second arm. So yarn over twice, insert in the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You'll have 2 loops. Yarn over twice, insert, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You have 3 loops. Yarn over twice, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You have 4 loops. The last one, yarn over twice, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, switch to purple, yarn over, pull through all 5, and then we're going to snip the green and tie these 2 greens off. we're going to continue with purple. So find that stitch that sometimes gets hidden. And you should have 7 stitches left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, just checking myself. So we're going to single crochet 7 to the end. Pop out that arm. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me loosen up a little bit and let's look at them. See, I like to have their arms just like a little tiny bit outside their feet. So if your bobbles are maybe above the feet or way off, just move them around until they sit where you like them at. So that was the end of round 11. So now round 12, we're just going to be single crocheting all the way around. And at the end of it, you will have 24 stitches. Alright, we just finished round 12, which is single crochet all around. Now round 13, we're going to do 1 single crochet decrease all the way around. So 1 single crochet, decrease, 1 single crochet, decrease. We're going to repeat that all the way around, and at the end of round 13 you'll have 16 stitches. Okay, here at the end of round 13 we're going to be switching to green. So that's the last stitch you'll be doing is a decrease. So to switch to green, you just yarn over and pull through, go on to the second one, yarn over and pull through, and then before finishing the decrease, switch to green. So yarn over and pull through all those. Alright, so now green is attached. We can snip purple. We're done with it. And tie off my ends there so that they don't slide out. Okay, so now we're going to be increasing for the head, and then we'll stop in a minute and stuff the body. So round 14, we're going to be increasing in every stitch. So at the end of this round, you'll have 32 stitches. So let's see here. We'll just do 1 increase right there in the front. So we're going to be increasing every stitch around, and at the end of this round, you'll have 32 stitches. So here we are at the end of round 14. His little body's shaping up. So now this is where I'm going to stop to stuff the body. So I'm just going to stuff it to, you know, here, and then we'll continue building up the head. So in stuffing the body of any amigurumi, I always just kind of stuff some in there first. And then when you get some in there, you just stick your fingers into the middle and push it out to the sides. And then you add more stuff in, and you keep doing that until it's the thickness, denseness, whatever that you want your amigurumi to be. So just kind of, you put it in there and you push it off to the sides, the bottom and the sides. That way the bottom and the sides get filled in. You just keep stuff in the middle and pushing it out till it's how you want it to be. See, he's starting to take a little bit of shape there. He's got a big waist. You can always add a little bit more stuff in, and if you overstuff it, you can always take out some. Okay, I think I'll stop right there just until I get some more of the head up, and then you can always mess around with it. This is a good time to make sure your arms and your feet are poking out all the way you want them to, so that they're not stuck on the inside. So there he's shaping up. Alright, let's move on to round 15. So for round 15, we're going to be single crocheting 3 and then increasing. So let's start that. Alright, so 1, put your stitch marker back. 2, 3, increase in the 4th. And then 1, 2, 3, increase in the 4th. We're going to continue that all the way around. 1, 2, 3, increase, 1, 2, 3, increase to the end of round 15, and you'll have 40 stitches. Okay, for round 16 and 17, so 2 rounds, we're going to single crochet all the way around. Each of those rows will have 40 stitches in them. So it's 1 row of 40, 2 rows of 40. And I'll meet you back at the beginning of round 18. Alright, so we're at the end of round 17. We did 2 rows, 16 and 17, of solid single crochet. So now for row 18, we're going to do 3 single crochet and then decrease. So let's do 1, 2, 3, decrease. 1, 2, 3, decrease. Now we're going to repeat that all the way around. 1, 2, 3, decrease. 1, 2, 3, decrease. To the end of round 18, you'll have 32 stitches. Okay, so we just finished round 18 decreasing. So now rounds 19 and 20, we're going to single crochet solidly. So it's going to be 32 stitches each round. And at the end of row 20, we're going to change to black. Okay, at the end of row 20, we're going to switch to black. So don't finish off that last single crochet with the green. Use your black to finish it off. And then we can snip green. We're completely done with green until the nose and ears, which we'll do here in a minute. Let's tie these two ends together. So the black is his hair. So we're almost done with the body. And then we'll be going on to the details. Okay, so round 21, we're going to do 2 single crochet decrease, but we're going to do a special single crochet as one of the two. Okay, so first start with a regular single crochet. You don't really need to put your stitch marker when you start a new color because it's obvious, but I do it anyways out of habit. So okay, so that was 1. So now our second single crochet, instead of working into the stitch that we would normally work into right here, we're going to drop down to here. This is a drop single crochet, and it's going to make his hair look kind of, you know, spiky, layered, I don't know. So instead of going into the stitch you normally would, you go to one under it, and you just do a single crochet like normal. It just makes it look spiked, and it covers up the one you should have worked in. So now the next one is when we're going to do our decrease, the next 2. So we're going to do our decrease. So that was 2 single crochet decrease. We just did, some people call them spike single crochet, some people call them drop down. They got different names. So we're going to do 1 regular single crochet, and then we're going to go, instead of here, we're going to go down, and then we're going to do a decrease, and we're going to do that all the way around. At the end of this row you'll have 24. So do a regular single crochet, and then instead of here, go down. That's 2 single crochets. Now we're going to decrease. And then a regular single crochet, and then we're going to drop down to here, and then we're going to do a decrease, regular single crochet, drop down, decrease, regular single crochet, drop down, decrease, regular single crochet, drop down, decrease, and then the last set. So regular, drop down, and decrease. So at the end of round 21, you'll have 24 stitches, and then just some of them are drop down. I just like the way that looks. It looks like he has a little bit of hairline, you know. You could also, if you wanted to get creative, you could drop down some of them a little bit further down to give him longer bits of hair, like maybe short in the front and then longer towards the back. Or you could do it with both your single crochets. You could do one here and one down here, and then just mix it up. As long as you end with 24 stitches, you're good. Alright, so now we're going to move on to row 22. We're going to single crochet decrease all the way around. So we're going to do 1 single crochet. This is with black yarn too, so it may not be able, you may not be able to see it well, but I can't help that. And then we're going to decrease, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet and then decrease. We're going to do that all the way around, and at the end of this round you'll have 16 stitches. Okay, that's at the end of round 22. You have 16 stitches. Now is a good time to stop and finish stuffing. So we're going to finish stuffing his little neck area and all his head. Same exact way we did earlier, just kind of putting it in there and then pushing it off to the sides and the bottom. You want to make sure the neck is good and stuffed so that he's not floppy. So you just want to make sure that you get stuffing everywhere that you want it. And we're going to kind of pull it out, add more stuffing, pull it out, just shape it and mold it the way you want the final product to look. If it's going to be played with by kids, you're going to want to stuff it a lot so that it doesn't get all frumpy and lumpy really fast. And sometimes at the very end I will stuff a little bit more at the top if I feel like it needs it. So stuff it in there. Okay, I think that's good for at the moment. So now we got one more row up here to close up the head. So this last round, round 23, we're just going to decrease all the way around. So there's going to be 8 of them. And at the end of it you'll have 8 stitches. And then before you close up the hoe, if you feel it needs a little bit more stuffing, you can definitely add it. Now, when you're working at this small of a hoe and the stuffing's already up here, make sure to kind of use your fingers to push the stuffing down, especially with black yarn, because if you pull the stuffing through, it'll be super noticeable, and it's sometimes hard to get out of the stitches. So we're gonna, whoops, we're gonna do 1 decrease, and then we're gonna put our stitch marker back. That was 1, so we're going to do 7 more decreases to close up the top part of his head. That was 3. Decrease. It's 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. Alright, so let's pull a little bit of a tail. Longer if you're using a chenille yarn that does that. And close off the head right there. Remove your stitch marker. Now I feel like mine does need a little bit more stuffing on the top of the head, so I'm going to add some more stuffing and then we'll close up that hole. Okay, so once you're happy with the amount of stuffing in his head, we'll close up the hole. Now if you're using any yarn that is chenille or anything like that, that's not worsted weight, or I know Big Twist Plush is a really sturdy yarn and Bernat Blanket's pretty sturdy. You got to be real careful at this part, because if you pull too tight, you will break your yarn. So to close the top, I just go through each stitch and I kind of pull it tight as I go to help close in the hole without putting too much tension on my yarn to make it snap. Because I've done that before and it stinks. Because then you got to get real creative about closing in the hole. There's always stuff that gets stuck on black yarn and it's so visible, it's annoying. But I just kind of weave it through, pull at the end of each time I weave it through so that it is not got too much tension on the whole yarn, just that particular part. And then at the end I just kind of sew it to make sure that the end is closed up. Pretty good. It helps with black yarn because it's not super visible. Got all that fuzz up there coming out. Alright, so now take this yarn tail and just kind of stick it somewhere for now, because we might need it in a little bit to tie off something. Because now we're going to do his eyes, his nose, his mouth, his ears, and his little bolts. So all his little details is what we're going to do next. Okay, for the bolts and the ears, we're going to be crocheting directly onto the stuffy. So first we're going to work on the bolts. Let's get our gray yarn ready. Let's attach it to our hook, just a slip knot, you know. Leave a little tail because you're going to use it to help hide your ends. Alright, for his bolts, they're going to be above his arms on his neck, because the traditional Frankenstein had his bolts on his neck. A lot of times they put them on the temples. In art, I don't know why, but the original one has them on his neck. So I always put them on the neck. But anyway, so it's going to be above his arms. So we're going to go into these stitches right here. And the bolt is really simple. We're going to put our yarn, our hook right into the stitch right above his arm, the green stitch. And you're going to slip stitch on there so that your yarn is attached to his head. Chain 2. We're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. And then we're going to slip stitch right back into that same stitch on the body. It's a little difficult for me to do slip stitches, but there. Alright, so now pull up your little bit of yarn. Snip it. Pull that yarn through. And for now, we're just going to leave those tails. We'll deal with them in just a minute. Okay, so there's his first little bolt. This is the only gray Parfait Chunky I have. Ideally, I would like to have the darker gray, but it was out of stock when I ordered it, and it's not supposed to ship until the end of September. Anyway, so there's one bolt. So now we're going to go over here and do the same thing on this side. So let's reattach our gray yarn to our hook. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go into the single crochet above the arm that is green. We're going to slip stitch, which is kind of difficult at this angle. Try that again. All right, there we go. Slip stitch it on there. I have a real hard time making slip stitches on things like this, so I usually have to help with my finger, which is fine. Alright, then we're going to chain 2. So 1, 2. In the second chain from the hook, we're going to do a single crochet. And then we're going to slip stitch back into the head, the same place where we attached. See, I'm struggling. I always struggle with these little bits, but I like to show it in my videos so that everybody knows that it's okay to struggle. Alright, snip that yarn. So now before we continue on to the ears and stuff, we're going to go ahead and hide these yarns just so that they're not flapping around. Alright, so the way that I hide my yarns is I use my yarn needle, or sometimes I just use another crochet hook. And you just want to make sure you don't put these two yarns in the same hole. So like I'm going to put this one over here on this side and bring it up through his head. And then this one I'll put in the back side. If you put them through the same hole, then they could still get pulled out. So we'll go right here. Come out the same place that your other yarn did. And then tie a few knots. And then take both of those. Put them back through the hole that you came out of and put them somewhere just else. I always kind of pull it kind of snug and snip it. That way when you snip it, it kind of gets sucked back in there. Alright, so there's that bolt. So now we're going to do that same thing over here. I'm going to keep leaving that there because I might need it for another thing, for one of the other facial features. If not, I'll deal with it towards the end. Alright, so we'll put this one through this hole. We'll take the second one, put through a different hole, but come out the same end up here. Knot it off. And send it off this way. Pull it snug and snip. Alright, we got all these fuzzes. Okay, so there's his bolts. So now we're going to move on to the ears. Okay, the ears are fairly similar to the bolts. We're going to be attaching them the same way, but they're just done a smidge different. So we're going to attach our green yarn to our hook. Okay, so this last row of green up here is row 20. This is row 19. This is row 18. So we're going to attach above the bolts on row 18. So here's the bolts, above the bolts. Go through onto row 18. We're going to slip stitch to attach our yarn to the project. Whoops. See, I completely messed that up. Okay. I always struggle with this part. Alright, we're attached. And now we are going to, in that same spot that we attached, we're going to do a single crochet, a half double, and then another single crochet, and then a slip stitch. Pull up a little bit and snip. So there's your first ear. It'll shapen up a bit more once you put these two ends in the body. So there's ear number 1. Now we're going to go over here and do ear number 2. Same exact thing. Attach our yarn to our hook. And then above the bolt, this is row 20, 19, 18. So you're going to grab that stitch. Reposition my yarn here. Okay, we're going to slip stitch onto the body. If I can. And then in that same spot, we're going to do a single crochet. A half double. A single crochet. And then a slip stitch. Pull up yarn. Snip it. Okay, so there's my 2 ears. So now we're going to deal with these ends. I think I'll go ahead and take care of this black one with this ear. So let's go ahead and send this one through this side. I'll come out in the same spot where this black one's at. And then this one down here at the bottom. Come out in that same spot up here. And then take these 3 and knot them together. See if I can get all these on my needle. Okay. Go in the same hole and come out down here somewhere. And snip them. If they poke out a little bit, you can use your hook or something to just kind of push them back in there. Alright, so there's one here. So let's finish this one off. Fuzz everywhere. Okay, this one down here, come out over here somewhere. The bottom one. Come out the same space. If I can get my needle over there. There we go. Knot it off a few times. Okay, there's his ears and his bolts. Now that is all the crocheting. All we have left to do is embroider the eyes and the nose and the mouth. And I'm just realizing that I completely forgot to tell you when to put safety eyes in. I'll have to make a note on the screen for that. I am sorry about that. I forgot. Okay, here's a note about the safety eyes because I completely forgot to show you earlier. These are 16 millimeters, I'm pretty sure. If you're crocheting the head still before you close it and you want to add safety eyes, this is row 20, 19, 18, 17. I would put them around row 17 and 18 and about 5 or 6 stitches apart, depending on the size of eyes. Because like if you use smaller eyes, you might want them closer together. And if you use bigger eyes, you know, you can adjust where you want them. But there's where the safety eyes would be, or you could, you know, move them closer together or further apart if you wanted. But I would put them between rows 20, 19, 18, 17, between 18 and 17, about 5 or 6 stitches apart. I'm sorry I didn't show that earlier, but I forgot. I never use safety eyes, hardly ever, so I forgot. But now let's embroider the eyes. Alright, for the eyes, you're going to need your needle and some white and black yarn. This is also just Parfait Chunky. So first, let's start with black. I kind of cut off a big piece of black. It might be a little too big. Alright, so the eye placement for the embroidered eyes is very similar to that placement for the, what are they called? Safety eyes. But first I'm going to start up here so that I can hide my black tail up in the black yarn. And this is 20, 19, 18, 17. So I'm going to go down to row 17. I made a really long black piece, but that's okay. I'll have enough to do both eyes for sure. And I'm going to go up to the bottom of row 19. It's right here. So this is 20, 19. And I'm going to start there. If I don't like it, you know, if you don't like them, you can always pick them out and start over. So now I'm just going to go in and out that same spot, kind of go into different sides to shape up the eye the way I want it shaped. So just keep going in and out those same 2 spaces, using your fingers to direct where you want the yarn to lay. That's how we build up the base of our eye, which is the black part. And the more you build it up, you can shape it to be like a almond shape or a more rounder shape, depending on how much yarn you put around it. This is also a skill. I've mentioned it in all my videos where I talk about this. If you start embroidering, don't freak out if it's not great at first. You just, the more you practice it, the better it'll get. And sometimes they'll always look weird because sometimes it's just life. Sometimes things just don't come out looking the way you want them. Alright, I like that pretty good. So now I'm going to go over here and stick my black yarn over here. So I can start my second eye. And it's about the same size. Should be. But you know, crochet, when you crochet in circles, it's not straight lines. They're kind of crooked. So sometimes if you start on the same row, it might be a little off. You might have to start a little bit further down. But we're just going to go with this and see what it looks like. And then I can change it if I don't like it. Crochet is a handicraft, so it doesn't have to be 1000% perfect. And it doesn't have to look the same as somebody else's. That's the beauty of handcrafted things, is the variety of options. If everybody wanted things that looked exactly the same, they would just buy stuff from Walmart. Look here. So it needs to be a little bit bigger. I hated embroidering eyes when I first started, but the more I've done it, the more I prefer them. But with that being said, there are some projects that I've made that just look better with a safety eye. Oh boy, I didn't think about how hard it was going to be to find the same spot. Oh, I think I did find it. Alright, so let's get the black up there. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Again, like I said, it doesn't matter if they're not 1000% the same. Trim off that black. I'm just going to leave it there for now. I'll deal with it eventually. Alright, so let's get our white. I always like to add the white detail on the side of the eye. It just adds a little something something. We'll stick it up here. Come out at the bottom of one eye. And then we're gonna make it go around the eye and back up at the top. Sometimes I do it more than once just to build it up. And then I'm going to come out at the bottom of the other eye. You can also do this white detail around safety eyes, and it adds a lot of detail too, I think. That's actually how I started embroidering eyes, is I just started embroidering details around safety eyes, and then I started just embroidering eyes, and now here I am. You can also use your needle to help fluff parts if you want it to look a certain way in certain spots. Okay, I think those are pretty cute. I'm happy with those. Happy enough. They don't have to be perfect. Okay, so we're going to knot these off and get rid of them the way we did all the other ends. We're almost done. All we have left now is the nose and the little smile. Or you can make like a grumpy face if you want. Also, you can make stitches. I'll show you that too. I'm going to trim these a little bit. Sometimes I use my yarn needle to get rid of these ends, and sometimes I just use another hook. I prefer the Susan bait hooks for this part because they got that little hooky bit. I think they're called inline hooks. I'm not sure. I get confused. It helps me grab hold of the yarn. This little fuzz. Go up here and hit the black. I'm not sure if it's the right spot. It's hard to see. Alright. Alright, he's shaping up. He's almost done. So now, let's do his nose. So we need a piece of green, the same color as his skin. Not too big, but it's better to have a slightly bigger piece than you need than having a slightly smaller piece. Put it on your needle. This we're going to do basically just like the eye, but in green. So let's start over here somewhere. You can put your nose up here near his eyeballs, or you can put it a little bit lower. I think I might try it up here, see how that looks. Pull it almost all the way through, but leave yourself a tail. And then I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3 stitches. And then I'm just going to build that up the same way I did the black of the eye, except I'm going to do it with green. And the more you build it up, the bigger his nose will get. These are really simple noses, but they look really cute on a lot of plushies. I've seen them on like more humanoid, like mermaids and things that look more like humans. And it's cute. And on little monsters like this, it's cute. Pretty much anything that's not like just a regular animal. That doesn't need an animal shaped nose. But you basically just do the same thing like with the eye. And you build it up to the size and the roundness or ovalness, whichever that you like. I think I'm pretty happy with that right there. So I'm going to go ahead and come back out down here. Alright, that looks pretty cute. Alright, let's do his little smile. So I do like doing that in worsted weight. And you know, I still struggle bad with liking the smiles that I do. So let's get some worsted weight. Or you could use embroidery floss or anything you want to use really. I just like the worsted weight because it makes it not crazy thick like these are, So again, just go in somewhere And it really depends on the kind of smile you want to put on them. Well, like I said, I'm not the greatest at doing these smiles. I still struggle with the smiles myself. I see some people do them and they just look perfect. And I'm like, how do they do that? But I just kind of like try to use my fingers to help make the shape of a smile that I want. And a lot of times when I do smiles, they're what I pick out and redo and pick out and redo the most is the face or the smile. Go down here, come out. This is usually the part that I'm the least amount of happy with. Maybe I'll get a decent one the first time. Again, just use your fingers to help guide the yarn where you want it to lay. Well, that looks pretty good for my first time. Normally I would have to pick that out 20 times. Okay. I'm not going to mess with it too much because I don't want to mess it up and regret that. So knot that off gently. Don't pull these parts too much because it'll suck them in here and it'll mess up what you just did. I don't want to pull on this too tight because I don't want to mess that smile up. I actually like that one. Okay, I just want to pull out some stuff. Get back in there. Oh my gosh, look at him. I think he's done. Look at him. He's pretty cute. You could also add a booty. I know some people don't like booty. Some people do. If you do that, just use the brown color. You know, start down here somewhere. Probably right there. And I would go up to the top of his pants. And then you just go through that a few times, pulling it kind of tight. And then you just tie off your ends just like you did with the rest of the things. And that'll scoosh that down to give him little butt cheeks. But if you're not into that kind of thing, he's pretty cute just like this. I think he's cute. He's covered in fuzzes, so you do have to go through and clean him off a little bit. But there's Frankenstein. You could also use your worsted weight yarn to embroider stitches. I'll just do one real quick. I got some yarn up there too that I need to push down in there. I'll deal with that later. So I would just embroider like a line, and then like that, just put a line, and then go over it like this. So just little lines across the big one. Because, you know, he was operated on and sewed together body parts and stuff. So, like there's one. And then you would tie these off like you would any of the other ones. And then I'd probably put another one here. And you could maybe even do one on his face somewhere or something if you wanted to. Just because, you know, he is like a reanimated corpse. So he, you know, has been sewed together. But, so I'll probably do like a, what way is that one going? Okay. Probably do one back here too. Skew yourself. Oops, it's on his ear. Little stitches. Don't be hard on yourself either at this part, because I mean he is a reanimated corpse. There's no way he's gonna look perfect. Which one of these is my tail? There it is. So then I will hide these ends here in just a minute. There's his little stitches. That's just cute little detail if you wanted to add it. You could have added different hair. Like I said, you could have went down further in the back to give him more of a longer hair in the back. But that is him. He's done. If you have any questions or anything like that about this pattern, I would love to try to help you. So just leave me a comment about it, or you can email me. My email is always in the description box of every one of my videos. I don't have a written pattern of this. None of my video tutorials have written patterns at the moment. I don't know if I ever will get around to doing that, because that's a lot of work in itself, is writing and tech editing and all that stuff. Alright, so now when you're all the way done with him, and if you see any spots like that, you can just go around and poke them around until they're not visible anymore. Just whenever you're happy with it. And if you have to, go in and do it that way. Alright, I think he's pretty cute and pretty done. If you make this, I would love to see it, so share on the Facebook page, it always links below, or tag me on Instagram, or if you have videos here on YouTube, I'd love to see them, so let me know in the comments. And that is a little Frankenstein tutorial. I hope you guys like him, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.